Well, I have to say that I'm pretty pleased, Jake, that for the first time all season it didn't rain on Friday night, at least not in Edinburgh. I don't know where you went.
Yeah, no, I was in Westaco, and I got to set up, then I had to go to a wedding. But
you got married again.
Yeah. No, talking about the other side of the valley.
They're like the other side of the mountain.
Yeah, Brownsville Vets is impressive.
Yeah,
there's some teams over there that have really impressed.
Yeah, they took down Hannah pretty good. Hannah dropped to 0-2, but Brownsville Vets, the second play of the game, Carlos Garza runs 66 yards for a touchdown. They're a physical team with a pretty good amount of size, and they have some game breakers. I think Brownsville Vets can win that district. I really do.
I do. And right now, there's some parity in that district right now.
Yeah, there is.
Because we haven't been able to say that in that district in a long time.
No, it's been 3 teams and everybody else scrambling. Right now, San Benito's throwing a wrench into the whole works, man. Talk about playmakers and seniors. Well, let's look at 32-6A. Said it right this time. Los Fresnos 1-1 at South 1-0. I penciled that in, or pinned it in, rather, before the season as one of the biggest games of the year. It loses a little luster because South is off to a poor start, but they did get a win. They're undefeated in district, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
1-0.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, it was a game that they needed to have, which was the Lopez game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It was Lopez, and they gave up some yards early, but they then stiffened. They didn't give them any points. Lopez only scored 43 points all year. So the bottom line is South got a win. They look pretty decent doing it. Los Fresnos comes off that loss, 17-14 to San Benito. It sounded to me like the Falcons made a few too many mistakes.
Yeah. And it's kind of been their MO a little bit this year. Late game turnovers that have cost them the game. Edinburgh North. Yeah. They can't really do it in district. I mean, you can't.
This is a big game, man.
Every game counts. Especially the San Benito game. If you win that game, you win Harlingen South at Harlingen.
Then you're a front runner or in the old driver's seat. Well, as it is now, they got inside the 20 and they didn't score. I believe they turned one over also late in the game, but San Benito, let it be said, and we're going to get to the Greyhounds in a minute. They did not deserve the game, and they made the plays to make it happen. Okay, well, Los Fresnos South is pretty good. How about Rivetta and Lopez? The best part about this game is what? Somebody's going to be the winner.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to have it in 19 overtime, so they're both winless, and so I think Rivetta probably has the edge on Lopez.
Yeah,
they came back.
Rivetta's played a very, very competitive game.
Their strength of schedule, man.
Yeah.
They got another touchdown to Orive, not Oliva, like Lopez, but Orive, Sammy. And so, they can score. They can get up down the field. Lopez needs to convert those things. I know Coach Starkey is working hard with those kids, and they have a great attitude, man. But sooner or later you got to come up with an effort. This will be a nice one for them to win.
Yeah, I mean, they're in one of those positions. Look, they're just looking to throw a wrench into the mix again.
Be competitive, man. And so let's see what they do. Lopez and Rivetta. Now Brownsville Veterans and Hannah. Like we said, Veterans got off to a good start. Hannah's 0-2. So Veterans right now, boy. They'd like to put Hannah out the race because 0-3, that's going to be hard to come back from.
Yeah, and for Vets to go 2-0 right now, position yourself to when you play Harlingen South, Harlingen, those schools, they're in a really good spot right now to take first place.
Well, Hannah had a hard time with Harlingen. It was 37-21. They came back and scored a couple of times as sophomore of note, which we're going to mention. Jaime Gonzalez did well. But Harlingen's starting to kind of resemble the Harlingen teams of old. And that's a good thing because on the horizon is the Battle of the Arroyo, the 1256th or some such, as they've been playing for a long time. So Harlingen and San Benito come into the game, which is being San Benito, by the way. They're both 2-0. The Cardinals, they're getting the pass rush. My question about the Harlingen is, are they going to start getting the special teams and defensive touchdowns that they've gotten? That's right. So that's the mark of a playoff championship team. If they start doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's a Manny Gomez team. Mm-hmm. But a Manny Gomez team, they come after you on punts. They come after you on the kickoffs.
They come after you every time.
Yeah, and on defense, they're hitting every play. So by the time the fourth quarter comes around, you have no legs.
The other teams are jelly legs. Well, Reyna got that pick six a couple of weeks ago against Rivetta. Last week, Jesse Bailly had a pick. So, they're starting to make some plays. Hey, they got those kids back. Big Bowie Davis came back. And so did Leo Tienda. Leo, take it to the store, man. I like that guy. He's pretty tough. He had 100 yards, man. Him and Medina, they got a bunch of backs. So Harlingen at San Benito, boy, that's going to be a crazy crowd. Oh, my goodness. What about the Greyhounds? Can they win that game? I think they can.
Well, their defense is showing that they can limit people's
points. Big Padilla, 99. You better watch that guy.
And from what I heard, they have pretty much everybody back from last year. So
they're an experienced team.
So they're not a young team.
No, their senior kids are playmakers, man. Madrano is, and Gaitan, who's tough, 5 for 102. Of course, Vasquez, we talk about all the time. He's phenomenal. And they always have a good kicker. Now it's Alejandro Lugo. He made a couple of field goals. They've had good kickers back into the 90s when they had that kid Juanito Torres that made the field goal that tied Harlingen. I believe it was 1994. Look, it was the worst kick in the history of football. At the end of the game, they hadn't beat him since 67 or 74. You know the story.
Yeah.
And this kid kicks a field goal 33 yards. It was like a fluttering quail. And it just kind of went over the crossbar, and everybody went bananas. They tied him 15-15. Man, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. One of the worst for Harlingen because, they hate each other and vice versa. That's why it's a great game. You go to those games and you can see people get beady-eyed with each other walking in. If you happen to go into the wrong gate, you better be ready to rumble, man. I'm telling you. That's one of the best rivalry in the Valley to me.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. So did Nike a couple of years ago.
This is true.
But
even in basketball, one of these days I'll tell you about the time they cut down the nets at San Benito when Harlingen won district over there, and the coach got arrested for inciting a riot.
Wow.
Allegedly, but it didn't stick. But it was an amazing thing, and everybody who's over there knows what I'm talking about. It's going to be a great game. I don't think either team can say we're going to do it. Let's see which team comes out better of this ball game because to me it's a toss-up.
Yeah, but to win this game 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying all the marbles are on the table right here.
But you're sure in elbow range for getting some of those marbles.
Yeah.
All right, well, is that it? Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, I think that's it from that district. Golly, see, I didn't turn the page here. I'm like, when I was a little kid, I had this little record player, and Tinkerbell would say, turn the page. Bing! We need one of those back in the back there. We're going to have to work on that,
know
Jake.
exactly what you're talking about, too.
Let's take a breath of fresh air here, and let's get to the 5A scene because it's getting pretty interesting, too. Bye.